Hello? Hi. Hi. How's everyone doing today? Hi. Let me actually do this. It's, oh, not that. This. How y'all doing today? Everyone have a good weekend? Everyone have a good weekend? My weekend was pretty good. Hi Denny. Hi Tomo. Oh my god, a foot sprain? I hope you're, actually doing alright. My weekend was pretty good. I don't really even know what I did. I took care of a bunch of chores around the house on Saturday and, DM'd, obviously. Went to a little party, that's fun. I hope you had a good time. Were able to celebrate whatever it is you were celebrating. On Sunday... Hi, Kroven. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. On Sunday, I always... Hi, Pigeon. On Sunday, I always go visit family, and afterwards, I checked out a new ramen place with some friends, and it was really good. It was a bit pricey, but worth it for good ramen, so... I did not actually end up having the ramen. I had a bunch of appetizers because I had eaten relatively, soon before that, because I didn't realize I was gonna, we were gonna go check out a new place. But it's fine. I would like to try the ramen there. I heard it was very good. But did everyone else have a good weekend? I hope you're healing. I'm glad it's already doing better. I hope it gets to be even better. But Pigeon, Groven, do you guys have good weekends? Did you do anything fun? I know Pigeon has been playing a metric absolute buttload of Zenless Zone Zero, and I don't blame him. I've been playing some, and it's been good. I haven't played as much recently because I've been kind of, busy with trying to figure out a bunch of stuff for myself. So I haven't been playing as many gacha games until You're Not Addicted. Addict. Sure. I updated Love in Deep Space today, so I've been playing that. Silas just dropped. He is very handsome. I am a fan. I still need to play story and get a bunch of stuff, and I'm sure I'm gonna be in a place after this patch by the end of this banner, because oh my lord, Silas just played Stardew. Well, that's good. I hope you had fun and got to enjoy yourself, got to relax. But yeah, so some things that are going on with me. I have been playing that Pokemon playthrough. I'm doing pretty well, I would say. I'm taking it a bit longer than I thought, but that's just because things played out in a way that I wasn't expecting them to. One of the Pokemon I really want to learn a very specific move, learns it way late. So I just been power leveling that. And I got to where it bees. I've finally acquired all of the Pokemon on my team. And I'm poised to do well. We're already in talks about like if we want to do this again, what that would look like, and all that stuff. So, yeah, we my friend who made Trike Systems is going to be running a new campaign soon. I'm looking forward to that. Being a player is always fun for me. Although, obviously, I enjoy DMing, and we'll talk about that today. Today's stream will be pretty chill. Last week's was me shotgunning a ton of information at you guys in a very rambly, incoherent way. Today will be a lot more chill, a lot more laid back. I'm going to go through who the players, like reintroduce the players and like what their shtick is. And talk about what happened last session. Like maybe give like a cliff notes, like a one sentence of the campaign. Talk about what happened last session, and then get into planning, because I have a lot to plan for next session. Depending on how the players go. Granted, they could get stuck and take the entire session to do nothing, which is fine, because that's kind of how D&D goes sometimes. But I always want to anticipate a lot of progress being made. And so we're going to prep for that, because I am woefully underprepared. Part of why I'm streaming at all and why I'm doing D&D streams and why I went this route was because I don't prep enough. I don't prep. It's not that I don't prep enough. It's that I want to prep more. I want to be more organized about how I prep, because a lot of my prep is just in my head. Like I can think of something and it'll stay there. I am, one of the few VTubers that doesn't seem to have ADHD, so I can actually keep track of things in my head pretty well, and it's pretty good. And that's been good enough so far, but it won't be forever, right? It's very unsustainable. And so I really want to, get prep actually thought out, written down, and this is kind of going to be the time for that. So, yeah. Is there anything else? Plans for the week. We got Wall World tomorrow. Obviously, super my hyperfixation. I would like to beat the second boss. I want to see I want to see more biomes. I want to get better enough to see more biomes. So that'll be tomorrow, and then Thursday is Yakuza. I was very honestly, I wasn't sure how the poll was gonna go. In my head, I don't know. I was anticipating more people wanting to see Divinity, because that's super iconic. Phoenix Wright and Nier tied, and they were very close to Yakuza, and Divinity was nowhere near close. Which kind of surprised me, but I'm not upset. I really want to play all the games. I'm super happy to be playing Yakuza. And big super huge shout out to Honless, because I was planning on playing Yakuza Kiwami 1, which is the remake of the first Yakuza game. But in fact, as Honless told me, Yakuza 0 is the prequel to Yakuza 1, and Yakuza 0 came after Yakuza 1, but before Kiwami 1. So Kiwami, the remake, was made with the prequel in mind. So it's the prequel's actually the start of the story, as opposed to being played afterwards, in which case in a lot of prequels that are made after you see a lot of like spoilers because they call back to like what happens in the main series, like what happened in the first game, right? But in this case, it's the other way around, where Yakuza Kiwami 1 actually has callbacks to Yakuza 0, and Yakuza 0 doesn't spoil anything for the original. So you're like actually supposed to play them in number order. So we'll be doing 0 first. I own like 0 through 5 or 6 or something like that. Meika May, who is a wonderful artist that you should all follow, and streamer, and Oshi of mine. She is a huge fan of Yakuza, and I don't remember where I was going with that thought. Here, I just said I don't have ADHD, and I'm just like, okay, where was I going? I got distracted with thinking about telling you guys to follow May, because May is great. Yeah, teehee. But in any case, big shout out to Honless. Honless got me on the right track, set me on the path of Yakuza 0. So we'll be playing... Oh, I was telling you guys that May recommended Yakuza to me, like, while it was in a bundle. So I got, like, 6 games or something like that for, like, $40, which is a hella deal. So, very, very happy about how that turned out. And now I get to play one of her favorite games. Yakuza 0's peak. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Literally, the only thing I know about Yakuza is that you beat people up and that you play mahjong at some point. That's like legitimately the only things I know. May is a big fan of Kiryu Kazuma, I think the main character's name is. But I don't know anything about him. I don't know who he is. I know nothing about the story. I saw in the artwork that I used in the thumbnail that there's a guy with an eye patch. That's cool. Eye patch man looked cool. I have no idea who he is. But literally the only thing I know about is that there's mahjong, and as I actually know how to play mahjong, we might get stuck playing mahjong for a while. But I don't really know anything about the game in any capacity, other than that people really like it, and that there's fighting involved. That's about it. I mean, I assume the Yakuza are involved, so... What? Are there... I don't know. I assume there's, like, some crime in some capacity. I don't know. I don't really know anything about the Yakuza either, so... What would I associate with Yakuza? Like... I don't know. Just do not know. So, whatever. We'll figure it out. Japanese delinquent stories are always the best. I mean, the delinquent story, the only real Japanese delinquent story that I know, has nothing to do with Yakuza. It's Yu Yu Hakusho, and Yu Yu Hakusho is a fucking banger. So, I mean, sure. I assume they have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho is really good. It's basically like tournament arcs the show, and I'm so here for it. It's very good. Wait, what? Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can do this. Can I? Interesting. Okay. But let's get into like DnD. We'll start with here. Let me actually go to paint. We're gonna switch to paint real quick. I'm gonna be using paint. There. Oh, I just realized I don't have my BGM on this screen. Do you guys want BGM? I assume you do, and not just sitting in silence. Do you guys have a preference on which BGM is the BGM for this screen? We got the starting screen, which sounds like this. We got this BGM. We got like the main BGM, which is here. And then I don't know if my BRB screen has different BGM. Honestly, I don't know that I've even used my BRB screen yet. It looks like this. Oh, yeah, this is my ending. It's the same as my ending BGM, right? Oh no, it's different. Okay, I have no idea then. Do you guys have a preference on which BGM you want, though? Because I just realized it has no BGM. The main one? Okay. This is called Sunlight. So let me add Sunlight. Add... what kind of source is it? Sunlight. Play. It's a media source. Don't do that. Oh, can I just copy this? I might be able to just copy this. Copy. Paste. Can I paste it here? No. No, I cannot. Okay, well, I'll just add it then. It's not a big deal. Add. Media source. Oh, wait. I should be add existing Sunlight. There you go. Oh, I should have let RNG make the decision, but we're already here. I did not read your message fast enough on this. Sorry. Alright. So, let me move this down. Not in there. Here. Alright. Paint. Can you guys see this? You guys should be able to see me scribbling. Yeah, okay. Select. Delete. Alright. So we're gonna introduce the characters, our main characters first. What size text is this? Very large. Oh my lord, why is this so big? That's what she said. Alright, how's this? Is this readable? I don't know if this is readable for you guys. That does not seem very large. 22? Is 22 more readable? Let me make it a little bit bigger. No. No. 28. 28. Please. Thank you. Is that... Sure. Alright, whatever. This is good enough, right? So, let me align left. And then we're going to start. I'm just going to go by whoever comes to mind first. We'll start with Errol. Errol Sokaris. Errol is a Sorklock. Warlock first, actually. Explain. My players are level 11 for the record. I think Errol is Warlock 7, Sorcerer 4, Sorcerer... Shadow. Errol's story is that Errol had a sword, was like made a deal with a cat and a sword, and later found out that the cat is actually the cat Sith of the Winter Fae. It's like a general for the Winter Fae. And he was put on a quest to go free his swords by, like, the queen of the Winter Fae, right? To free her general, his patron. And he did so, and for it was blessed by the powers of the Winter Knight. So Errol is now part Fae. He is a tiefling. Sorry, I should have started with that. Tiefling. Part Fae. Is the... Hello? Can't you see that? Is the Winter Knight. So basically what that means, mechanically, is that he is... He basically has like ice powers, is the best way I can describe it. He's received boons beyond the scope of D&D. I created the Winter Knight abilities. He gets a bunch of free spells. He gets extra frost damage whenever he hits anything. That kind of thing. What he exists to do is to, like, as a Winter Knight, what the Winter Knight exists to do is to do things that Fae can't do. So Fae, in my setting, they're not allowed to tell lies. They're not allowed to actively harm other Fae, even though the Winter and Summer courts, like, have beef with each other. So he, like, basically exists to be their like, hitman / whatever, you know? Let's word it like this. Knight of the Feywilds, Winter Court. He was given a personal task by the Winter Queen to hunt the Summer Knight, who is a woman who was a previous campaign's player. So in a previous campaign, one of the players became the Summer Knight, and that campaign has since ended. And that player's character is still the Summer Knight, right? That's not something you can you cannot abdicate being the Summer Knight. You can't reject it. You are, once you become the Knight, you're the Knight for life. So that's a thing. Errol is also married to the Winter Lady. So he's married to a Fae. Lady Maeve is her name. So he's married. They have a kid, a daughter, as it would. A lot of my Feywilds is inspired by Jim Butcher's Dresden Files. If you've read those, you should have kind of like a basic understanding, of what's going on here. If not, no big deal. It's not really relevant. Next, we'll talk about Nanther. Why does this become white? Nanther. I think that's how it's spelled. I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce his last name. It's like Irishiris, or something like that. He's a bronze dragonborn. Nanther is a bard. He's a lore bard. But his bard... I'm gonna do this. Bard abilities are cooking. Nanther is a professional chef, which I think is very cool. You know, he doesn't sing, he doesn't narrate, he's not an orator, you know, he doesn't do poetry, he doesn't do singing, you know, he's not a traditional bard, he's a chef. He's literally a professional chef. His bard abilities are that he cooks, he owns a restaurant, it's called 2 coppers and a silver. His arcane focus is a cooking pot. I think technically it's his, like, frying pan, I want to say. So, yeah. Nanther is, very unique. So, a couple things. Nanther's big story is that he's searching for his siblings. Like, at the start of the campaign, he was searching for his siblings who had run off because one of them, the middle child. So Nanther's the oldest of 3. The middle child, her name was Nianker, ran off. That was played by a different player in another campaign. And Nianker got, you know, sent to Canada in a very literal sense. Like, he got teleported across planes to, like, my setting's Earth. So he's in Canada. And then Niansish, the youngest, like, separated, was traveling with Nianker, but at the beginning of the other campaign, separated and became, you know, got captured by a big bad in this campaign, and became the big bad's assassin. So there was a whole plot thread where Nanther and Niansish attempted to kill Nanther. It was a whole thing. They're on good terms now. Yada yada. But I guess what's very relevant for this, like the rest of the campaign, is that Nanther's arm is the remaining piece of the bibliothecary. Bibliothecary. You guys can't see that. And what that means, that's a whole lot of nothing to you guys. But the bibliothecary is an artifact created to house all knowledge by I don't even know where to begin, how to describe this. But, well, it's created by knowledge. We'll just say created by knowledge. Knight of Axiom. So in my setting, the lawful neutral plane of like the not like lawful neutral outer plane. So if you were like a very lawful neutral person, you follow a strict code, you follow the rules. You would be like, when you died, your soul would be sent to Axiom. It's like the lawful neutral, like heaven, basically. Where all rules are written. It's like where the rules of the universe are written. Abadar, god of civilization and law, is like the god who presides over this plane. And Abadar has these knights, the Knights of Axiom, that are like literally concepts of existence. Like knowledge is one of them, time is one of them. Like time is, like the concept of time is a Knight of Axiom. Space is one, that kind of thing. Knowledge, the Knight of Axiom, created an artifact called the Bibliothecary, which was like basically a big mech that was designed to hold all knowledge that had ever been known. Through means not yet discovered by the party, the Bibliothecary was destroyed, its pieces scattered, and that kind of thing. The only thing that remains is an arm. And Nanther acquired this arm, And he had to go out and find the fingers to it. Like, he literally had, like, 2 fingers at the start, like, when he acquired it, and now he has all 5. So, basically, Nanther, within, like, he can literally just ask his arm anything, and if the arm has, like, acquired that knowledge, it will tell him that. So, he can literally be like, hey, arm, what's that thing over there? And the arm will be like, that thing is yada yada yada. You know, it'll tell him, like, the history of it, that kind of thing. There are cases where the arm doesn't know things, and that's because the arm has not acquired that knowledge, because the arm isn't the bibliothecary, right? It's only a piece of it. So it doesn't have the ability to just know everything. He has to, like, get that knowledge. He has to, like, go be near the thing to know what it's about, basically. So it's like a fragment of it. They just learned, I don't know if the party has put it together yet, but they noticed that, because Nanther died recently and got resurrected, and when he reattuned to the arm, because when he died, the arm, like, melted. The arm is metal, it looks like it's metal. Yeah, it's basically better than Alexa. But it's like Google. It's literally like Google the arm, right? But when he died, the arm, like, melted, went back to the shape that he found it in, which is just liquid. It literally looks like it's, like, mercury. It's like a liquid metal. And when you stick your arm into it, you, like, it becomes the arm, right? It, like, reshapes into, like, the arm. And when he died, it, like, went back to the state, and then he, like, had to restick his, like, what was left of his arm, like the stump, into the pool of liquid. And it came back more, right? Because beforehand it went up to his elbow, and now it's, like, nearly up to his shoulder. So if he keeps dying, he'll keep being eaten by more of the arm. So that's a thing that the party, I don't know if they actually realized it, but they should have, because they know that that's what happened, right? But that's Nanther. He has Google arm and is a chef. We'll talk about Anna. What's Anna's last name? It's Folnir, I want to say. Something like that. Let me look it up. I'm a bad DM, guys. Can't remember my players' names. Where is this? This is in my notes. Felnir. Oh, I literally spelled it with an extra E. Oh, and it's E-L-L. Fel. Okay, they kind of don't. Anna's player actually, I'm gonna actually here, let me write down the, players' names as well. So that way, because I'm gonna call them, what they're, like, I'm gonna use their character name and their player name pretty interchangeably, when I speak. So, Kiki. Anna is a human, and, player deck. These are, obviously, these are not their real names. I'm using their, like, usernames. And I'm not even using their full usernames, because I give most people nicknames, if they have longer than, like, 1-syllable names. Anna is a wizard, a blade song wizard, actually. Anna's story is more or less, that Anna used to, so blade singing is exclusive to elves in my setting. used to be a mercenary. In my settings, Chain of Acheron, like whatever. The Fates of Shur used to be a mercenary. It's like this, like, I don't know. It's a giant mercenary company. If you're familiar with the books, The Black Company, it's a mercenary company based on the Black Company. It's called the Fates of Shur in my setting. They're basically like created from like hell. They were originally like people who were mercenaries for devils, but that was like thousands of years ago, and they're not anymore. They're just a mercenary company now. And befriended. Gee, that's not how you spell friend. An elf learned blade singing from him. Anna left the mercenary company. And joined an adventuring party. The Silver Talon. Okay, maybe making this 28 was not a great idea. Let me make this smaller. We'll make it 24. Sure. I'll make it smaller again later. This will be, like, shrunken down in a bit anyway, so... left the mercenary company, and joined an adventuring party, Silver Talon, but was kidnapped by the Big Bad and rescued by the current party. Anna is like the most, I would say, normal of the characters. Anna, like, actually wants to. I think they all want to be heroes in something, like, in that capacity. But I mean, the reality is that some of them, like, Errol is literally the Winter Knight, right? He has allegiances beyond the scope of this realm. Nanther has, a restaurant to look after. He has his sister to look after. I should mention Nanther also cooks drugs for the Big Thieves Guild. The Flock. Nanther has ties to the Flock. And Enna is, like, actually an adventurer, right? Whereas these other characters have, other ties to things. Enna is like an adventurer through and through. This is still going to wind up being too big, I think. Unless I can make my canvas bigger? How do I make my canvas bigger? File. Image properties? Yeah, let me just make this just fucking massive. 4K. Sure. So that way I can just scroll down. Yeah, perfect. Oh my god, no. No! I wanted this text box. Oh well, whatever, we'll make a new text box. Alright. Next up, we got Ursus. Ursus no longer has a last name. I don't know if Ursus ever took a last name. Ursus is half-elf. And is played by Cal. Ursus is, well, so Ursus used to be a barbarian, but is now a fighter. Ursus has a demon inside her. Demon inside of her. The demon's name the party has learned is Zoriel, the Life Swallower. Versus, in fact, here, I'm just gonna add that, was the adopted daughter of the big bad. I hesitate to even say, like, the big bad, because one of the, like, 3 or 4 big bads, a big bad. Ursus was adopted by a family that was super evil. They put demons inside of people and children, which is why I left the last name blank, because Ursus technically should have the last name Goldfeeg, because she is their child, technically. But I think Ursus would hate it and murder anyone if they called her Goldfeeg. But Ursus used to be a barbarian, and that barbarian, like, powers manifested via the demon raging inside of her. Now suppressed. But she got a magic item that suppresses the demon, so that way she doesn't go into rages anymore. So she, like, trained in fighting, like Battle Master. She's allowed with Battle Master. She wields the control. So, of note, Ursus's blade weapon is one of the 12. I think it's 12. I don't know if it's 12. I'll just say one of the contrivances of woe. Exile. Zraz. So, what this means, Ursus has a sentient weapon. When the gods left the material plane, they were like, alright, we're done making this. Each of them left a piece of themselves, manifested in an artifact. Those are the fragments of antiquity. If you watch Critical Role, it's very similar to Matt Mercer's, what do you call them? I don't remember what he called them. Neither here nor there. The gods left pieces of themselves manifested in artifacts, except one of the gods died and was killed by a different, like, outer plane being that became a god. That outer plane being is, like, the start of all demons in my setting. And it's like the plane, the abysses that hold the demons is, like, literally his, like, stomach. Because he's like Rovagug the consumer. He exists to, like, consume all existence. And that's very relevant to the campaign, because Rovagug's prison is, like, the material plane and several other planes, like, layered on top of each other. And Rovagug's, he's, like, slowly breaking out. And the players are trying to stop it. But Rovagug has demon lords. If you're familiar with D&D, you're aware of the existence of demon lords. Like the Demogorgon, for example, is one of the demon lords. And there are a bunch of them. And each of the demon lords in my setting have their equivalent to the fragments of antiquity. The contrivances of woe. Exile is the contrivance of woe of Grazd. the demon of like lust and passion, and his like each of the contrivances of woe have a soul put like not a soul, a demon like put inside of them to corrupt the wielders, basically. The issue being Zaraz did not want to be a contrivance of woe. He wanted to be his own demon, not be in an artifact, and was betrayed by Grazd to and became one anyways, and now he like hates demons. He like made a pact with an angel, and so Exile, the name of the sword, has like a bunch of bonuses to kill demons, basically. He does like extra radiant damage against demons, can see invisible creatures and stuff like that, because it's literally a weapon designed to kill demons. Which is relevant because, as you see here, Ursus has a demon inside of her. The plot of the campaign is to seal up the hole that's spewing out demons in the world. This is super important. But yeah, that's Ursus. Eventually, the party is planning on going inside Ursus's brain and killing the demon inside of her, so that's a thing. We have Baird, Duran, Human, Player, Mega. Baird is also a Sorclock. Sorcerer. I think he's Sorcerer 6. Warlock 5? I'm not entirely sure. But he's Divine Soul. And Warlock. Celestial. So, these are both like, so if you look at, Errol is like, huge damage warlock, damage sorcerer. This is healing sorcerer and healing warlock. So Baird is like the party's healer. And part of that, I guess, I actually can't talk about some of this some Baird stuff on stream because Baird still has secrets yet to be revealed to the rest of the party. So Baird has got Baird has got some stuff going on. I'm going to just like do this to represent. We're just gonna call. What should I even call it? Baird has got the. We're just gonna call it light. We're just gonna call it light. Baird is special. Baird has got things going on. Baird is 346 years old, at least. I think he's like 380 or something like that. The party does know that. But he's human, so like obviously something's going on, right? Baird founded the Three Cities, which is like my settings, New York. It was signed by 3 people: a human, a dwarf, and a tiefling, to basically bring like peace and stability to the world when the world was going to go to war, basically, over this plot of land where the 3 cities now sits. And of those three people, one of them was a human. That human was Baird Duran. So he basically like prevented world war. Baird is also a long-standing adventurer. He's basically like been the party's, like, to him, this party is just one in this party. This party is one in a long line of adventuring parties that he's been in. So yeah. That's Baird. He's, I think that pretty much sums up Baird, in a nutshell, really. He's very good. He's very healy. He's got healing on steroids, basically. Baird finna get his free run arc. I mean, basically, yeah. And then we're gonna talk about this last player. I kind of fucked over this last character a bit. So we're gonna say, so we got Tobias. Actually, let's start with Scott, because most of the players know him as Scott. Scott / Tobias / Jace / Toa, as he's now known. You'll notice he has 4 different names. So here's the thing. The player really enjoys this. The player is this is basically his first campaign. He's when we started this, 2 years ago, he was very new to DnD. And he asked me, he was like, hey, can I not know my backstory? He was like, I want you to surprise me with the character that I get. I want to start the campaign with amnesia. And I was like, are you sure about that? And he was like, yeah, I'm sure about that. And if you're familiar with D&D memes, you know that when the DM asks you, are you sure about that? The answer should almost always be no. And so what I did, I gave him amnesia, right? He started the campaign, he didn't know who he was, and hence the party called him Scott, right? And it wasn't until later, right? So they did the first couple quests, they went down to the 3 cities, and this guy walks up to Scott and is like, hey, Jace, how's it going? How you been? Where have you been? We've been missing you. The gang's been missing you. And he's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, this guy, his name was Leon. He was like, all right, just come back with me. I'll take you home. And this guy, Leon, took them to the Flock, the criminal organization. So he goes into the city, he's level 3, finds out that he's used to be a big shot in the Mafia. And he's like, oh, okay, this is a thing. And basically, as he comes to learn, he's basically Moon Knight, is the best way I can put it. He's a monk. So, here, actually, let me do this. Let me start with Tobias, and then I'll put Scott here. Because Tobias is who he was first. And then we'll do Jace, actually. Because Jace is who he was second. So Tobias is a monk. Jace. So the thing is, each of the characters has their own character sheet. They all have their own abilities. Jace is monk rogue. Scott is monk wizard. Which is why it's very, very bad for a new player, right? That's how I fucked him over. And then Toa is a monk druid. So they're all monk because monk was first and is pure. Tobias is pure monk. And yeah, so Tobias, who he was originally, Tobias is one of the master monks of the world. Tobias is a master monk. There's a system in my setting where monks, exclusively monks, can get these tattoos that like manifest on their body that give them like extra dope monk powers. And when you defeat a master monk, you can like absorb their tattoo onto your body. When a monk defeats a master monk, they can like take their powers basically. He is the Raven. So he has a Raven tattoo. When he wants to, he can spend like key points to like bamf out wings. He gets like wings, he can like fly and stuff. The party has met a couple other master monks. They met the Master of Jackals, who like when he does like extra attacks, he can spend key points to get even more extra attacks. They met the Master of Cheetahs, who can like spend key points when he uses like Step of the Wind to get movement speed. He can use extra key points to like go even faster. That kind of thing. Jace is a hitman for the flock. Jace is like the flock's second place for everything. He's like the jack of all trades. He's like super good. He is a master of disguise. He's a master of assassination. He's he's not the flock's best assassin. He's the second best assassin. He's not the flock's best disguise person, but he's the second best one. He's like that, where if the best in one regard is taken on some mission, they'll send Jace out, because he's really good at everything. Scott is like the actual party member, right? And occasionally he will switch like personalities with the other ones. But Scott was like originally the one who was like supposed to be the adventurer. And then most recently, so like I said, Nanther died, right? And got his arm more. Nanther was killed by a demon. So in my setting, demons, when you're killed by one, they have the potential to eat your soul, because demons eat souls. That's what they do in my setting. So when you drop to 0, you make a wisdom saving throw. If you fail that wisdom saving throw, you die. And you cannot be resurrected, right? Because your soul is literally destroyed. Period. So demons are very, very dangerous. Because there's no, you don't get death saving throws. Don't get any of that. You're not bleeding out. You just cease existing. And you need a wish spell to resurrect you. So Nanther recently the party fought some demons, and he got his soul eaten, and he was like literally destroyed, right? And the Tobias, or Scott rather, had learned about this mystical learned about this mystical being. He still doesn't know much about the mystical being, called the Maseer. The Maseer basically grants wish spells to players whenever they want. They can literally just be like, hey, I wish for X, but the Maseer takes something in return. So it's like a monkey's paw. And Scott recently asked the Maseer, he wished for Nanther to be resurrected, to like rebuild his soul from nothing. And in return, the Maseer took the memories of Scott. Scott took the memories of everyone he ever known and cared about. So Scott got a fourth personality, and he doesn't know what happened to the rest of them. He doesn't know if they've been wiped, that kind of thing. But when he woke up, he didn't know the rest of the party. He's still re-getting to know the rest of the party, the character is re-getting to know the rest of the party. Scott, Tobias Jace, was engaged to someone in the flock. He's not gonna remember his fiancée. So Toa is new. So I don't know what's gonna happen with the party after, what's gonna happen with that. His fiancée, her name is Kayla. is going to be really, really sad about this because, I mean, can you imagine if your fiance no longer remembered you and you've already had to re-explain your entire existence to them before because, you know, he came back to the flock not knowing anyone? It's gonna be that's gonna be a really fucking sad scene. So, this is the party. And yeah, so to recap what happened last session, the party has been, so like I said, here, we'll just go down here. Campaign plot. We're just gonna hit the high level stuff. Rovagug is eating the world. Rovagug, we'll go say, god of demons and consumption and hunger, is eating the world. Thankfully, there is a key, the key to seal him up is called the Rod of Seven Parts. It's literally a rod that's been broken up into 7 parts. The party is collecting them. The party, we'll just call them Pizza. So, a little bit of history. The party's name is Pizza. They're literally the pizza party. Because while they were in Ursus' hometown fighting the big bad that adopted her, the one that kidnapped Enna, like, these are the same people. The one that originally wiped Scott's memories, right? They're all the same, like, group of people. It's the same big bad. While they were in that town, Nanther invented pizza, and then one of the chefs in the town, like, where he was, like, the tavern, basically, that he was in when he invented pizza, like, the tavern head was like, oh, you're a professional chef, like, you can use our kitchen to, like, cook and stuff, and he invented pizza then, and the chef was like, you've invented this, but I can make it better. Let's bet to see who can, like, who owns the rights to pizza, because you might have made it, but you made it in my kitchen. You wouldn't have made it without me, right? And so they had a cook-off. There was, like, a big scene where the chef that owned the tavern and Nanther had a cook-off to see who would basically have the rights to claim pizza as theirs, like the concept of pizza. And Nanther won, and so since then, the party has been calling themselves Pizza, like, after the food that Nanther invented. So they're the pizza party. Pizza have acquired... Yes, correct. Literally correct. This, how do you spell acquired? Acquired 3 of the 7 parts. The first, a party member, so Barrett is not Mega's first character. Mega's previous character, Yor, died, and while Yor was in the town that they invented pizza in, he saw that what is this? 3 of the 7 parts. He saw that there was a weapon shop that was selling, like, a rod, like a magical rod, and he was like, why are you selling that? Like, it's not a weapon, you know? And the guy was like, I got this from a wizard. It's a magic item that can find magic items. And Yor, Mega, the player, was like, we need that. I want to find magic items. So the party spent, like, 2,000 gold or something on this magic item that can find magic items. Like, on a whim. They got the first of the 7 parts. And since then, it's kind of spiraled. They found the second one in an ancient black dragon's lair. The ancient black dragon was dead. it's now a new big bad. It's a whole thing. The third, they found in, like, on top of a mountain that houses the elven pantheon of deities. They, like, stole it from the elven pantheon of deities. It's a whole thing. And now they're, like, where they are right now is acquiring the fourth of the 7 parts. So, next session, the party pizza will attempt to find the fourth. Alright, so that's where we're at. What happened last session? So, previously, the party used the rod, because, like I said, the rod points to other pieces of the rod. It'll point to the next piece of the rod. The party hired a boat, because the party hired a boat to go to the shackles, where the fourth piece is. They determined that the fourth piece was in the shackles. The shackles are a series of islands embroiled in generational war between tabaxi, cat people, and lizard folk. So there's like a, generations long war on the shackles. And so last session, the party, the party landed on the island and had started negotiations with lizard folk. Party had landed, talked to lizard folk, and got ambushed by tabaxi. So that was the start of the session. Was they had like at the previous session they had been, they had negotiated with the lizard. They had arrived on the island. A group of lizard folk was like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Are you like fucking trying to steal from us? Are you trying to, invade our land? Are you like colonizers?" Because this is very like inspired, kind of like by Mexico and like the party arriving as like Cortez, trying to find gold or whatever. That's kind of like where this comes from. But that's kind of like the vibe you should have, I suppose, because it's like they've arrived on a ship, they're going to go into the jungle and find, what they're looking for. And the lizard folk arrived. The lizard folk are like, "What are you doing on our land?" Yada yada. And they were like, "Hey, we're chill. We don't want to fight you. We're not here for anything. We just want to get the thing we're here for and leave. Like, we don't want to kill anyone." And then tabaxi arrived, and the start of this previous section was them rolling initiative. And initiative went like this. Errol cast darkness. Toa cast more darkness. And the party just walked into the jungle and left. That was pretty much it. But on the way out, and so like they like party cast darkness and walked away. And the lizard folk were like, "Alright, we're gonna go fight these tabaxi that arrived. Like, thanks for casting darkness, right?" And on the way out, Anna threw a fireball. So the party is 11th level, and it was like, let me just throw a fireball into the darkness, you know, soften up for the lizard folk. We're like, chill with them, whatever. It's not going to matter, right? And they threw a fireball, and the party like walked off basically, right? And they heard screaming like coming from the darkness. It was pretty gruesome, and literally the party didn't know what happened, right? Afterwards, the party followed the compass. So the thing is, the rod points in two directions, right? It like spins and then stops. So like there isn't really a front to it. It's like one solid piece of metal. It's like a little like thin metal staff. It's like a bow staff. And the party spun the rod, and it pointed like when they were coming into the bay that they landed on, it was pointing straight at the island. So they just continued straight ahead. And when they got onto the island, they just continued straight ahead following the rod. Right. The party followed the rod into the jungle, where they found an Aztec-looking temple. Surrounded by scorched earth. So basically, they like walked in the jungle and found a giant Aztec temple that was surrounded, like 120 feet away from the temple, from 120 feet away. It was literally like a forest fire had razed the jungle. And in a couple places, you could see like greenery growing through, but it was literally like dead. Like there were no trees, everything had like been charred, that kind of thing. And the party stepped out, like one Nanther briefly stepped out because he was trying to get close enough to point his arm at the temple and be like, hey, what is that? And the arm was like, you need to get like within 100 feet of it. And he was like, all right, let me take a couple steps into the charred earth, because obviously something happened here. And as soon as he like stepped out into it, the temple, the top of the temple, started to open up and reveal this like a jutting piece of stone came out of it that had this giant engraved eye on it. And the party was like, yeah, we're not dealing with this right now. Let's go back. We're gonna let's not immediately go to the temple, because this party is very I would say cautious is the word I would use to describe them. And so what they did was like, let's walk around the temple and confirm that the rod is here, because we don't want to, like, if we don't have to get into like a super dangerous situation, we don't want to. And so they went to the left of the temple, they went to the right of the temple. Here, let me draw this out for you. Where's the circle? If this is the temple, right? And the rod was coming through like this, right? And like, here's the beach. And here's like the bay that they were in. They went over here and found that instead of pointing at the temple like this, the rod was pointing like this. Like the rod was basically back, and they went over here and confirmed it over here. Like the rod was like actually back in the bay where the ship started, more or less. And so they were like, all right, let me wash my hands clean. We're not dealing with this weird Aztec temple with like giant eyes and fire around it, right? And so after that, the party determined that temple wasn't where the rod was. So they left. And they went back to the beach. And on the beach, there were no lizard folk, but they found the scorched remains of the, 10 to 15 tabaxi that they had killed. And, unbeknownst to the party, these, 10 to 15 the Tabaxi warriors, that, had ambushed them, Anna kind of, very casually, because they're level 11, they have 6-level spells. Anna was like, here, let me throw out a fireball. And I was like, alright, what level are you casting? And she was like, 5, let me just casually, wave of hand, throw a fireball. And it decimated this entire troop of Tabaxi. Because they're just they're regular warriors, they don't have levels. Most people in ancient wars, were not trained soldiers, they were farmers and that kind of thing. So, yeah, when a level 11 person casually throws a fireball at a group of people, basically what amounts to, fighting civilians, yeah, they fucking get burnt to a crisp in one go. So, the party was like, oh, I guess we kind of are a little bit powerful, I hope that they finally learned that, they don't need to be as cautious as they usually are, because, they're powerful, level 11 is not something to snooze at. You can just casually throw, a spell, wave your hands once, and kill, 20 people or whatever. So, hopefully, the party now understands that, they're not weak by any stretch of the imagination. You cannot even remotely construe them as weak. And so the party, basically they use the rod to pinpoint the next piece location. At first they thought it was on the boat because the boat was parked over it, right? The rod only points in 2D. So, they, basically did, a 360. It was at the boat. They asked the boat to move. The boat moved, and they found it was, where the boat used to be. It wasn't actually on the boat. It was a whole, rigmarole that they, they went through, and, it's at the bottom of the bay. Which, under normal circumstances, you'd be like, oh, yeah, let's just cast water breathing and leave. Let's grab it, let's leave. So they did. They cast water breathing and jumped into the bay. And where they found an identical Aztec temple. Right? And so you guys can predict what happened. The party was like, okay, I guess we are dealing with one of these. Let's just kind of swim down a little bit. Let's just stay where we are, It's about 120 feet away. So when they jumped in the water, they were basically at the water surface. The players who were present, so Anna swam a little bit away, and Toa swam a little bit away, while Nanther and Errol were like, okay, let's just see what this thing does, because when they jumped over it, they're 120 feet away underwater. The thing triggered, the Aztec temple triggered, and they again, the top of it opened up, and out came this eye thing, and Errol was like, all right, let me test to see if it needs to see us, right? And so he cast darkness on a hammer and dropped it into the water, and it landed on where the eye thing was, right? Because they're swimming above it. And that's when a giant beam of light, literally a laser beam, came from the temple and smoked Errol and Nanther, who were swimming together. In testing, the temple fired a laser that downed Nanther. It literally did more than not quite double Nanther's HP. Because Nanther is pretty light. He is a 12 in Constitution or something like that as a bard. And almost down Errol. It did 80 points of damage to them. So that's where the session ended. So now the party's gotta figure out how they get into this temple that will literally just fucking nail them with lasers, right? So this is what's happened. These are the players. This is Pizza. Got Errol, Nanther, Anna, Rosus, Baird, Tobias, /Scott, /Jay, /Toa. They're finding rod pieces. The next rod is in this temple that the party needs to get to. Does that work for everyone? Just don't get hit for it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's kind of what they're gonna do. I have no idea what the party plans to do to get into the temple. So yeah, I have no. The way I design things does not take into account what the party plans to do, because if a person built a dungeon, right? Dungeons have to be built by someone, unless it's a cave, in which case it's natural. None of that takes into account what future adventurers might do, unless it's designed to keep people out. So, and if it's designed to keep people out, it's designed to keep everyone out, in which case, obviously, it's designed to keep the party out because they're part of everyone. So, that covers the recap of last session. Now we gotta start prepping for next session. So, I have told my players that I'm here. I don't know who all is in chat. If any of my players are in chat, now is the time to leave. So let me put this in. You know what? Actually, let me put this in my actual stream so it stays up after I scroll past it. Text. Pizza. Keep out. Yeah, this is spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled on what happens in the campaign, what's coming, please leave. Let me select font. I really like this font. Size, we'll say 72. Genuinely, I have no concept of how big that is on stream. Pizza. Keep out. Campaign spoilers. I've told the players if they're here for the spoiler section, they will just be kicked from the campaign. just entirely. Because part of the fun for me as a DM is being able to surprise my players. And like, you know, like seeing their reaction to the content I've made. Oh, this is really tiny. Okay, let me make it like this. Actually, let me make it black and put it down here. Like here. And then, where's the text? How do I make it black instead of white? Is there a way to do that? Text transforming? Oh, here we go, color. Select color. Like that. Okay. But yeah, part of the fun for me is that visible enough? Should I make it more visible? Let me, sorry, if you see my slime moving around, it's because the text for, the text editor is, like, behind my phone for capture. Let me do this. Can I do that? How big does that make that? Is that visible? That should be super visible, right? Okay, let me make it the opacity more. Oh, it is at 100. Oh no, it's not. It's at 61. There we go. I'm just gonna do that. There. People should be able to see that. But yeah, if pizza is in here and I find out, they will just be kicked from the campaign. Because that spoils it for me. And we ain't about that life. Let me move this down behind me. There we go. Yeah. So, now that's part of, now that's away. Pizza, if you're here, leave. You have 3 seconds. I'm gonna count down. I'm gonna count down from 5. If you're still here, you hear anything after that, we're done. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Now that pizza's not here, I will reveal the truth to you about DMing, and that's that I don't really have my shit together at all. I have no idea what's in this temple. I have some vague idea of what's inside this temple, but in reality, the prep that we're doing today is designing the temple, because I don't know what's inside. I obviously I know the rot's inside, but to what extent? Like, what does that mean? So let's talk about the temple. The party does not know this, but the temple, is the temple of preservation. Built in honor of permanence, Knight of Axiom. So this temple is a temple built by a group of people whose name I don't know, but they're like, basically they worship permanence, like the concept of permanence, who is a knight of Axiom. It's like one of the forces of existence, right? Permanence is a force of existence. And this is the Temple of Preservation. It's basically like, it's built to preserve permanence in that it's basically a guard house is the best way I can describe it. It's built to keep something contained. So that's what it is. Now, let me see. Let's brainstorm a little bit. Who built this place? Let's talk about this. So, I know it's built by a group of people who lived thousands of years ago. So, we're going to get into a bit of major spoilers for, like, the setting a little bit. So, if you plan on, you know, I don't even know. Setting spoilers a little bit. The world has been wiped a couple times. This is a remnant from pre-wipe. So, to the players and to everyone in the world started maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. Like, literally, the material plane was created like 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, when in actuality, it was created like 20,000 or 40,000 years ago. But no one knows that. That's, like, not kept to the records, right? No one but the gods know that. So, this was built by an organization that doesn't exist anymore. I was thinking about calling them the Steel Legion. Because it should be like an army, right? It's like literally an organization. Steel, I call them the Steel Legion because Axiom is it's like a metal city, right? Metal, it's like literally a metal plane of existence, because it's like law, order, rigid, you know, that kind of thing. Because it's like the neutral law, like the lawful neutral plane. So in my head, the Steel Legion is like, they're almost like Cybermen, in a way, from Doctor Who, where it's like, they're like, literally, you're like robot people who like made this place. Or people who like tried to turn themselves into robots, like that kind of thing. Like they existed to honor, like they worshipped the concept of permanence. So a mortal existence is a blemish to them, right? So they tried to like, this sect, you know, was about preserving things. So maybe they weren't steel, because they exist. They like, oh, we're humans, we're mortals, we're flesh. So maybe we want to preserve our flesh. So maybe the Steel Legion isn't appropriate. This is what the rest of the show, what the rest of this stream is gonna be like, because this is how I kind of develop things. So what should it be? What constitutes preservation? Protection? The Protection Legion? No, the Shield Legion? The Shield Bastion? Bastion's more of a place than an army. I'm afraid that if I click out of this, I won't be able to get it back. So we'll just do this. And then I'm gonna go to Google. We're gonna go to Tried and True. I'm not gonna put this on screen because I don't want to accidentally somehow dox myself if I show my internet browser. So we're going to thesaurus.com. Because thesaurus.com is a literal gem for DMing. When you need to call something, when you need to come up with a name, you start somewhere and then you're like, this doesn't sound quite right, but I want something of this vibe. So let me look it up in the thesaurus, see if there's another word that like fills that vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I like come up with names. So, we'll start with shield, because it should be like protection, armor, buffer, bulwark. Bulwark is Aegis. Aegis is a great word. Where's paint? Oh, I get to keep it. All right, Aegis. Is a good word. What's another good word for an army? Artillery, battalion. Battalion, the Aegis Battalion? Aegis Battalion doesn't sound bad. Eh? Corps, the Aegis Corps, the Infantry Squad, that's too small. Division, the Aegis Division, the Aegis Formation. The Aegis Company. Aegis Battalion doesn't sound bad. We'll start there. Brigade, the Aegis Brigade? That sounds a bit like superhero teamy, if that makes sense. The Aegis Brigade to me sounds like a superhero team name, which isn't bad. Like, it's fine. But I want this to be a bit more, like, imposing, I think. Like, this should be something about protection. I'm on the U.S. Department of Defense site, and it says it depends on how many people there are. Oh, I see what you're saying. Honestly, this isn't a bad... Oh, you know what we should call it? The Aegis Order. Because it's like an order of knights, really. They're like a group of people, right, who are like, you know, the Green Knights, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like the Aegis Order, I think is what we'll call them. I like the sound of this. Because it's like, you know, there's a group of them, and you know that they all support a cause, and that cause is shielding. So maybe less army, more like this. Okay, so we know the Aegis Order. So what is it built for? Why does it exist? We know this. Exists. It's to house artifacts. So, to house artifacts. We'll say to house dangerous artifacts, because we know that it's right there. It's the order of preservation. They exist to preserve things. Let me do this. Right. So, why would they build, you know, something like that? To protect stuff. They're protecting dangerous artifacts. So that begs the question, what artifacts are they protecting? Like, what could the party find here? And maybe, like, maybe not even what could they find here, but what might have been kept here and is no longer here as well, right? So, if, you know, this place was raided by bandits or whatever, obviously they must have been super powerful to get past the fucking laser, right? So everything that is here should be of high level, high value. And or very dangerous to, like, contain. So, let's think about this. So we know, is there a way? There's probably not a way to get, fucking bullet points on here. Normally I do this in Google Sheets, but I don't know that there's a way to share this without sharing my entire browser, if that makes sense. So what artifacts? Obviously, the fourth piece of the run, it has to be here. Run of 7 parts. Thank you. Okay. So I want the disease here. So another key piece of DMing, for you guys, that you should know. DMing involves a lot of, as the illustrious Mama Cookie put it, creative borrowing. Yeah, creative borrowing. And this Temple of Preservation will be inspired by Matt Colville's Ringwell. If you don't know who Matt Colville is, he's a content creator who makes D&D. Well, he used to make D&D oriented content about DMing, right? I look up to him a lot as a DM and a creator. He has since made his own company, MCDM, that like puts out D&D supplements and is making its own RPG, that kind of thing, right? And Matt Colville ran a campaign called The Chain of Acheron, which was based on the Black Company that I mentioned earlier. And in that campaign, the Black Company that, the players were a part of found a dungeon called Ringwell that Matt Colville himself had been like designing for decades and all this jazz. But I'm only stealing the portion that I'm creatively borrowing. Sorry. The parts that matter for our purposes, which is the layout, the concept of there being a Knight of Axiom here. So his Axiom is different from my Axiom. Axiom is just like the generic lawful neutral plane, whatever. But his Axiom also has the Knights. That's where I got that idea from. His are different. I know he has time and space and all this stuff, but they actually, like, the party actually fought a Knight of Axiom. In my setting, the Knights of Axiom are more powerful. They're like CR20 instead of like CR10, and that kind of thing. But in Ringwell, the party fought a Knight of Axiom time. But here, they're going to fight something else. We'll get to that in a bit. But while they were there, the party, the Chain of Acheron, found a disease that was meant to be kept in Ringwell. And I don't know the name of it. It doesn't really matter. We can think of it in a bit. But basically, the disease is like, it was like kept by a force field, right? And it's like literal like it's like dust particles basically. And when exposed to air and flesh, the dust particles like grow and turn into like these worms that like consume flesh. So the party had to when they opened this empty room that was guarded by a force field, they were like, okay, what's in this room? It has a force field. Something valuable must be there. The party opened it up and like they got like attacked by these like worms that were like trying to burrow into their flesh and consume them, that kind of thing. So I want something like that there to like showcase that not every door is meant to be open, right? Not every door is, not every chest is supposed to be opened. These are like, if you just open everything willy-nilly, right? In this place, you're literally unleashing like plagues and that kind of thing, right? Just to like showcase that the stuff that they find here is extremely powerful, and one of the rod pieces that are here is on this level, you know, like that's the vibe that I'm trying to go with. I don't know what I'm going to call this disease, but it should be in, yeah, pretty much, like, it's like, yeah, they're going to find artifacts here, and yeah, they might have to fight, you know, crazy, dangerous shit to get to it. Flesh eating. I do know that I want, so, a bit of mechanics here. It should take an action. No, it should take a full round. Full round to remove worm. Like, if one's burrowing into your flesh, or just a main action. But this has a DC. And that DC should be pretty high, because this should be super dangerous. So it should be something that, like, a normal person, so, like, you know, if you had a +0, would really struggle with. So maybe 16, 17. It'd be a dexterity check, because it has to do with, like, like, you're, like, trying to pull something out. DC, we'll say 16, 17, dexterity. Let's say dex check. So, for the record, for my notes, whenever I talk about a ability modifier or anything like that, I always write it in all caps to differentiate from, like, the actual word, because I'll shorthand, like, the word dexterity to dex. So, and if they don't pull it out within 2 rounds, it's buried in their flesh, and they will die within a day as they take damage every hour from within. How much damage should it do every hour? It should be something that they can't they can't heal past, right? Well, that's the thing, even if they can heal past it, like, they would have to, like, constantly be healing themselves. Like, let's say a healer gets infected with this, right? They take damage, they can cast Cure Wounds, sure. Even a first level Cure Wounds. Eventually, they'll run out of spell slots. And they would have to long rest, right, to get their spell slots back. Long resting heals you to full, but because you take damage every hour, you can't rest. Right? This disease won't let you eat. You're literally being eaten from the inside out. So it would prevent you from that. And so I don't know how to... So once they get it buried in their flesh, they gotta do something to get it out. What would that be? Let me open up. Because I don't want them to literally... I don't want to TPK the party, but I'm not afraid to make them worry if they don't have the right spells or something. Obviously, so let's do this. I'm actually gonna shrink this and this. So, we're gonna do, how do I want to do this? I don't want to organize this. Let's do this. Actually, we'll put all of this. Can I not? Like, click drag? I can't click drag. You know what? Screw this. I'm done with Paint. Paint is dead to me. I'm gonna move to Word. I'll just do it in, like, literally Microsoft Word. Copy. Because I don't know how to... I don't know how to edit this the way I want. So I'll make another window capture for Microsoft Word. Hopefully Word doesn't dox me. Let me double check before I window capture. Blank document. So opening Word did dox me. Very neat. This has my username here. So in theory, it should not dox me. If I hit File, does it dox me? It does. Can I remove this? Remove from list. Perfect. Remove from list. Remove from list. Sorry. I got, like, last time I opened Word, I got, like, my resume and stuff in here, so. I haven't opened Word in a long time. Oh my lord. Some of this stuff is from a long ass time ago. None of this docs me. I have no idea what this is, but I'm gonna delete it anyways. Sure. I mean, we won't be on this page anyways, so. Cease. Cease. Alright, there we go. Alright. Paste. Cool. Alright, now that that's out of the way, now I can window capture. Window capture. Microsoft Word. Thank you for being patient with me while I figure out how I want to do this. Word.exe, capture cursor. Yeah, yep, works for me. Shows up. You guys should be able to see that. Let me do this. We're gonna make this a little bit bigger, and then we're just gonna cut this off by moving it down here into the window capture folder. Ta-da! There you go, live stream editing. Okay, now that that's the case, let's fucking bullet point that shit. Alright, let me... bullets. Alright. Ta-da! See, splash hitting. So this is... we're gonna move this down here. I need a name for this flesh eating disease. What do you guys think this thing should be called? Let me take off my wrist base for a little bit. Let's see here. How much damage should this do? It should be enough that one level 1 cure wounds isn't enough no matter what. So it has to do at least more than 13 damage on average. Let me pull up a dice calculator. So for the record, cure wounds is 1d8 plus 5 if you're 20th level. So max, that's 13. So we want to do more than 13 damage on average. So dice calculator. Because that way, on average, it will do more damage than a level 1 cure wounds, because a regular like level 1 cleric should not be able to deal with this problem, you know? Alright, so we'll take a random guess here. So if it needs to do more than 13 on average, we'll say maybe like, I don't know, 66? Maybe that's too much. It's probably too much. Average, 21. Yeah, that's way too much. We'll say 46. Analyze. 14. Perfect. You guys can't see this. This is what I'm using. Let me grab a snipping tool. Snip this. I'm just putting random ass things into this calculator. Let me put it in paint so you guys can see it. I don't need this anymore, but whatever. Control V. This is a little big, but I can shrink it down. Let me pull paint back up. Let me minimize word. So it's this dice calculator. It's called, let me put this in the chat, dice.clockworkwad.com. I am not sponsored by them. I have no idea who made it or any affiliations that they might have. Where is my stream? Here it is. Oh my god, I'm hearing myself. Gross. Alright, where's chat? Here we go. There you go. But yeah. So that's this site that you're seeing before you that I posted a screenshot of in Paint. I just randomly, guessed. At first I put 66. I thought the average was too high. So now I put in 46, and it came out to 14, which is just what I want. So here, can you guys read this okay? Should I zoom in a bit more? Like here, you guys should be able to read that, right? Yeah. Alright. So, if they don't pull it out within 2 rounds, it's buried in their fish, and they will, here, instead of saying they will die, they will take 4d6. What kind of damage is this? Should it be poison, or should it be necrotic? That's the question of the day. Probably necrotic, right? It's a disease, necrosis. It's literally eating them away. It's probably necrotic damage. Every hour from within. Yeah, necro is more yucky. Here, let me put this here. Flesh-eating disease. What should this disease be called? What CR? So I know there is in Volo's Guide to Monsters. Let me pull out my books here. I literally own a bunch of D&D books. You will hear me flipping through them during these streams a little bit. Because I need to look at monsters and stuff. So this thing, there's a CR5 spawn of Kyuss, Kyuss monster that is like made of worms. Burrowing worm. A worm launches from the spawn of Kyuss at one humanoid that the spawn can see within 10 feet of it. The worm latches onto the target's skin unless the target succeeds on a DC 11 saving throw. Worm is tiny with AC 6, 1 hit point, and 2 in every ability score. And a speed of 1 foot. While on the target's skin, the target can be killed by normal means or scraped off using an action. Otherwise, the worm burrows under the target's skin at the end of the turn, dealing 1 piercing damage to it. At the end of each of its turns thereafter, the target takes 2d6 necrotic per worm infesting it. Maximum 10d6. The worm-infested target dies if it drops to 0 hit points, then rises 10 minutes later as a spawn of chaos. If a worm-infested creature is targeted by an effect that cures disease or removes a curse, all the worms infesting it wither away. Okay, so this is kind of like the inspiration behind the monster, I guess. They will fight one of these, and the worms will be more difficult. Right? That's kind of like the gist of it. Because we know that the worms take this instead of like having AC or doing anything like that. It has a much higher dex check rather than dealing damage or just taking a main action, right? Because in this it takes a main action. And I want to take it I want it to be more difficult to remove, because this thing is supposed to be super fucking nasty. Like, this disease should be able to wipe out a planet if need be, right? That's the level that we're talking about here. But I do like the cure disease, remove curse factor. Oh, 1 second, guys. I'm gonna mute for a second. Alright. Sorry about that. So I do like the, can be cured by cure disease. Or remove curse. Before I finalize that, before I decide that, let me check what level cure disease and remove curse are. Because if they're too low level, I want to remove that, right? This should not be stoppable by a level, a level 1 cleric. Cure disease. No? Is it not called that? Disease. What the heck? Is there no cure disease in 5e? What spell cures disease? Disease. Lesser restoration? Does lesser restoration cure disease? Either one disease or one condition affecting it. So, lesser restoration is level 2. It's a level 2 spell, which means you would need to be at least level 3 to cast it. Which is fine, I think. So this would be lesser restoration. Because if you think about it, the amount of people who have access to 3rd level cleric spells in the world can't be that high. If you go to like a big temple, yeah, there might be like 5 or 10 or something like that. But imagine if a disease broke out and there were, you know, hundreds of thousands of people infected with something like this. You know, even if the entire temple or all the temples in the city had access to this spell, they just wouldn't be able to cure people in time. Because that's how pandemics work, as we learned in 2020. What level is Remove Curse? I imagine it's higher, right? Remove Curse. Remove Curse is 3rd level. Okay, perfect. Let me read Lesser Restoration again. So, Lesser Restoration is available to Artificers, Bards, Clerics, Druids, Paladins, Rangers, Divine Soul Sorcerers, and Celestial Warlocks. So, Baird, in theory, has this spell. And maybe Nanther does. Maybe Toa does. Which means definitely one, so there's no way that Baird does not have this spell. So 1 to 3 party members have this, which means that this is actually not that dangerous to the party, right? Because even if they all get it multiple times, the party would be able to cure it. And I do want this to be a threat to the party. Let me look up Greater Restoration. What level is Greater Restoration? Greater Restoration is level 5. You imbue a creature you touch with positive energy to undo a debilitating effect. You can reduce a target's exhaustion by 1, or end a charm or petrification. End a curse. Reduce one of the target's any reduction to one of the target's ability scores. An effect reducing the target hit point maximum. Oh, actually, we can do that instead. So instead of dealing damage, it will reduce their max HP by 46 every hour. If, well, let's phrase it like that. Like, they'll take necrotic damage and reduce their max HP. They'll take, and they will take 46 necrotic damage. And every hour from within, this damage also reduces their max HP by the same amount. If a character is reduced to 0 HP by this effect, they die. Obviously, because they have 0 HP and can't regain HP because their max HP is 0. And this way, we can boost this to Greater Restoration. Do I still want Remove Curse? Remove Curse is a lower level spell. Let's get rid of it. I don't even think any of my players have Remove Curse, so it's not really relevant. Alright. What's a disease name for this thing? This thing could be called a lot of things. Maybe something rot, like blank rot. We'll make the worms red and call it scarlet rot. Rotussi? Rotussi? No. I think I'll get Haunless. Also, Haunless, I didn't realize this until the other day. I don't know if I talked to you about this, if I mentioned it to you. I might have mentioned it to you on a Maya server. I don't remember. I did not realize until, like, the other day that your name is actually Ha Unless. Like, it's literally, like, 2 words. Like, it's haha unless. Because your Discord name is Haunless. Haunless. It's like Damper. Damper, I don't know if you guys know this, but fucking Damper's name is this. This is Damper's name. Full name is haha JK Unless. Shut the fuck up, Haunless. But this is Damper's name, and Damper's name is literally Damper D ampersand D, like this. It's literally DnD. Like, that's Damper's name. So Damper is not actually Damper, it's DnD. His name is just DnD. Which is crazy to me. If you guys don't know Damper, he's a mod for, you know, several of the people that me and Denny and Homeless follow. But yeah, I just realized that, you know, the other day. I saw Haunless. I realized Haunless's name is actually haha unless, which is very funny to me. Good work, Haunless. But yeah. Disease names. I don't know that we need a disease name right now. I'll need one by the time they fight it, which might not be right away. Well, but let's think about this. Denny, I don't know how to pronounce that, let alone... It means tummy hort in Russian. Okay, so, unfortunately, I would rather not use Russian... Let me think about this. Russian, Swedish, and/or Swedish-sounding names, or Spanish-sounding names. And the reason for that is... Where's paint? I'm gonna bring up paint real quick. Paint. For my players, Squish is American, Dak is American, Cal is American, and has lived in Denmark, so preferably not Danish. Mega is Hispanic, Soul is Hispanic. And Key is, lives in Sweden, but is, of, like, Ukrainian descent. And so he knows Russian. I have used Russian words, and he's like, that's literally just a regular-ass word. Like, what are you doing? So, let's not use Russian for translated names. Let me pull up Word again. There we go. I don't remember what I used it for, where it was like the word was like fucking car or something like that in Russian. You know, and he was like, that just means car. And I was like, but it's actually these people's special mode of transportation. He was like, shut the fuck up, you know? He wasn't actually like that, but that's kind of the vibe. Yeah, like how every word, yeah, exactly, harmless. To go with the aesthetics, yeah, let's look up Aztec names. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let me type this out. Coco Lisley. Okay, so if this is pestilence, I'm gonna remove one of the co's because otherwise it sounds too much like coconut, and players will call it coconut rot. Lisley. This is a bitch to pronounce. This ZTL. I mean, very realistically, I kind of want to just call it fucking worm rot because it's made of worms and rots your flesh. Worm rot, love it. I mean, what, you know? Yeah, alright, let's just call it worm rot. Fuck it, we'll ball. Where's word? Here it is. Worm rot. I like what Pigeon did and made it one word. Alright, worm rot. So, what else does this thing have? We found worm rot. We know it has the rod. What else? I want something very nondescript. Maybe it's just a fucking... Here, I got you. We'll, a device. We're just gonna call it a device. We're gonna call it a button. So, it's just a box with a red button. Pressing the button seemingly does nothing. Oh, you know what? Let's make this thing a fucking nuke. We're gonna tentatively name this nuke button. It's an artifact. It will require attunement. And pressing the button does nothing. Radio. If you guys know radio is, in the before times, was one of Kana Yanagi's fans. Someone who was very prominent in their community beforehand. The Radio Knight, if you're familiar with him. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He sent me a like a TikTok or a clip or a YouTube short or something like that about a magic artifact that was cursed. And basically it was like whenever they used the artifact, the DM would like didn't do damage, or it like negated damage. That's what it was. It was like armor that while they were wearing the armor and like attuned to it, the armor negated all damage it took. And whenever the player de-attuned from the armor, because like a player like borrowed it, right? The player was like, hey, let me borrow your armor. I'm going to go on this, like, you know, stealth mission, whatever. And it, like, deals all damage, right? When they de-attuned to it, it literally, like, did that much damage that it, like, stored up in an area around them. And it, like, fucking blew up half the town, you know? Like, that kind of shit. So we're going to do something similar here. It requires attunement. It's just a box with a red button. Pressing the red button, we want to incentivize that the party does this, like uses it. So it's not going to do nothing. Does nothing. Pressing the button does nothing while not attuned. While attuned, button should do something, does something good that someone might want. When de-attuned, explodes based on number of times pressed. So this is the vibe that we're going for this artifact. So in theory, you know, maybe pressing the button, like, we'll say, like, we'll start, pressing button. We'll say, gives +1 AC, per press, for, like, next blow. I don't know how to word this right now. Next time attacked. So if you press it 5 times, you have +5 AC. Someone attacks you, the +5 AC bonus goes away. Right? We'll say it's a bonus action to press the button. So that way it's like, people can use it every turn. You basically have a +1 AC every turn. Which is really fucking good. Now, when you de-attune to it, maybe it explodes, dealing, what's a good die size? 1d10? 1d10 sounds good. 1d10, and increasing in radius by, we'll say 1 foot, so you have to press it 5 times. No, let's do this one lower, and 1 foot. We'll do 1d6, and 1 foot per press. So if you press it 5 times, it'll do 5d6 and a 5 foot radius, which just hurts you. If you do it 10 times, it'll be 10d6, which, let me bring out the trusty dice calculator. How much is 10d6? 10d6. Average of 35 damage, which is a shitload. Right? 35 damage will kill a lot of people in a 10 foot radius. Right? So it stores it up based on the number of times pressed. I'll just keep track of how often it gets pressed. How does that sound? And the reason it's kept here is obviously someone could fucking end the world with this thing, right? All they have to do is, like, just press this thing 5 billion times. Thanks, Pigeon. Have a good night. Are you going to stream? I'll direct people your way if you're streaming. I think you are. Let me double check my YouTube follows. Where's Mr. Suave Pigeon? Suave Pigeon. Pigeon. Yeah, Pigeon is playing Stardew Valley today. So, when we're done, I'll send you guys. I can't raid, but I will post Pigeon's Stardew Valley game in chat, so you guys can go that way. What else? I like this. I don't know what this would be called. I don't think this artifact really needs a name. Requires attunement. Untuned, pressing button deals +1 AC but next time attacked. Bonus action to press. When deattuned, explodes, dealing 1d6 and increasing in radius by 1 foot per press. Perfect. I think that's good. Alright. What else is in here? Oh, let me grab the map as well, because that will matter. I want a slime in here of some kind, something horrible. Cauldron of slime. It'll be just a very powerful ooze. I don't know what though. Ooze. Some sort of like, here, let me, if you guys here, I'm also gonna post another site in chat. Because if you do DM, you will want this site, for sure. I don't know what it's called anymore. I Google the same thing to find it every time. It's called Kobold Plus now. It used to be called Kobold Fight Club. It's very, very good for, like, doing party, like, fighting balance. What you call it? Encounter design. Basically, you can put what level, how many players you have, what level they are, and it'll like calculate CRs and all that jazz. So if it's one boss enemy, I mean, it's got to be like CR, what, like 18, 19 to challenge the party. If they're fucking, you know, they're a party of 6 11th level players, right? CR 17 is hard, and CR 18 is hard. CR 20 is deadly. What about CR 19? Typically, when I design CR 19 is deadly. Alright. So when I design encounters for my party, because I buff my party so much, right? Errol has free bonus damage for being the Winter Knight. You know, like that kind of bullshit. I basically at this point all my encounters are like quote unquote deadly. Which is fine. I get to throw crazy hard shit at my players. Which I enjoy. Because that means I get to run very dangerous monsters. When they're level 20, I have no idea what I'm going to do, because they're going to be super powerful. Let me think about this. Creature type, ooze. Are oozes in here? Ooze. Okay, what is the strongest ooze in the book? Mana sources? Let me just fucking turn on every book in here. Do not care where it's from, even though I limit my players, because I'm here to steal things. Right. Wow, the hardest ooze in all of D&D is CR10. Okay, well, that's not happening. I'm not gonna design an ooze. Not right now, not on stream, because that's a ton of... Designing a monster is a lot of work. But we'll do CR, 18, 19, monster. What else? What's a good artifact that would be sealed? Why would a lawful neutral, or what's a super powerful artifact that isn't in my campaign already that would be sealed away here for protection purposes? Good stuff is on the table because it would be used, in quote unquote in the wrong hands. It would be used by the, you know what I'm saying? Let me look at my artifacts page. Do I have any special artifacts in here? No, can't be this, Alright, let me look at, let me see if I might put a fragment of antiquity in here. Literally a piece of God's power. Let me look at my religion notes. I think it's in here. It's not in here, it's in the Cosmos notes. Cosmos. Alright, so let me look at my gods. It can't be Abadar's, who, Abadar is the god of, the people who work here and worship Abadar, right? He's their god, so it can't be his. Plus, I know where Abadar's fragment of antiquity is. So, Asmodeus can't be Asmodeus's. I know where Asmodeus is. It's held by a certain character. Bahamut, also know where that is. That one's accounted for. Tiamat's, I know where Tiamat's is. I know where Kate and Kalian's is. It can't be Abadar's. The Eyes of the All-Sight's used by Octavius. The Elemental Crozier. I have it listed here as lying at the heart of the Isle of Creation, which is good. Where is... Oh, K has... Oh, it could be the Pyre Maul. Originally, I intended the Pyre Maul to be in a Red Dragon's Hoard, but I could move it. Pharasma, Nyansich has it. Storm Knuckles, Doom has it. Okay, so it's got to be Serenrace. The Pyre Maul. Let me say that it's in here. Let me change these notes. Current location, held within the Temple of Preservation in the Shackles. There we go. Let me copy this over here so that you guys can see what the Pyre Maul is. It's literally a piece of a god's power. It's a hammer. Basically, it's deep red iron. This is too much text for this, but it basically all the fragments of antiquity look like this, and the contrivance will also look like this. When you first get it, it's dormant and it has a very slight bonus, but when you become more in tune with it, if you're following Serenrae's teachings, she does light, life, fire, redemption, retribution, that kind of thing. You can awaken it, and it'll become more powerful. So basically, it starts out with a +1 bonus and dealing 1d6 fire damage on hit. It becomes +2 and deals 2d6, and you can slam it into the ground, casting Burning Hands. once per short rest. And then when you crit with it, don't do that, oh my lord. When you crit with it, the target has to be, will be knocked prone. And both these become, when it's exalted, when it's in its most powerful state, it is +3, deals 3d6, deals way more damage on the burning hands, knocks people prone, but also, instead of dealing extra damage and doubling it like you would for a normal crit, it triples the damage from the weapon, which is a shitload of damage. So, the Pyronal. I'm gonna actually get rid of this. This is too much text for this page. Fragment of Antiquity of Serenre. Alright. What else? So we have one. What? Oh, this is not indented enough. Here. I'll just do this. There we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts. And it seems like plenty. 2 of them are not good. 3 of them are sort of good. 1 of them is sort of good. 1 is sort of bad. The others are good. I think that's probably fine. Let me get the map of Ringwell. Can I get any images? There we go. Copy image. So this is what the temple looks like. This picture is way too big. There we go. So the reason that Colville designed this temple this way, Ringwell this way, so why it looks like this, is because no matter where you slice it, nothing is divisible, I would say. Like, it's literally like you can never cut it in half and have it be symmetrical. Everything is round. Which is really annoying as a DM because fucking, what do you call it? D&D is played on a grid, so like it's played on squares. So like every room is gonna have its like the squares cut off, which is annoying, but we deal with it for the sake of artistic creativity. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, at least some of these rooms should be empty. Some of them should be trapped. Some of them should be, like, have the artifacts, right? So, I think this will be, like, the prison. Over here. Can you see my cursor? Oh, there we go. This will be a prison. I think probably we'll make some of these doors open, right? And some of them closed, like sealed off in some capacity. And the ones that'll be sealed off have like the worm rot in it. We'll put the worm rot basically in this room. We'll put the cauldron. I might eliminate one of these 2 branches for the sake of simplicity. We'll put like the cauldron in this room and like a trap in this room. This room is how that like where they get in. Like if you descend from the top of the temple, you'll be put in this room. This room is going to have the boss and also like have, so the way the temple works is that there's two temples, right? One is like on the island, and that's where all this is. And then the other one is on the, like at the bottom of the bay. That's where the players are, right? They're like looking at the bottom of the bay. That's where the rod is. The rod you have to teleport to. Like, spoiler alert, the temple in the bay has no entrance. If they were to literally swim down there, you know, dodging all the fucking beams of light or whatever, that lasers, you know, they'll search the walls of the temple looking for an entrance, and they won't find one. And then they will have done all that for nothing. Congratulations. But the reason it's designed that way is so that if people have the rod, they're drawn to that location, right? Because the people who built this place to protect the rod know what the rod can do, right? So they built that as a failsafe so that when people look for the rod, they won't go to the temple where you can access it. You'll be drawn to the temple where you can't access it, right? So where the rod is completely sealed. And that'll be in this room. There'll be like a teleport portal, probably at the back of this room, and there'll be like a boss monster here. That boss monster is a creation of Permanence the Knight of Axiom. So we know that. We'll move on from artifacts for a bit. We're going to put like protections somewhere in here. How do they protect the artifacts? Traps. Monsters. Rod. It's in a different location. Obviously we know the place has lasers. Laser. Every round at initiative. I know the rules for the laser. I've used it already. I've made that up. Initiative. Initiative. 20 fires a 10-foot line of 15 D6 damage. Or D10? Is it 15 D10? I think it's 15 D10. It does like 80 damage on average or something like that. It's fucking crazy. Because obviously they don't want anyone to get in. And D10? Yeah, it's 15 D10. 15 D10 damage. Half of which is radiant. Half is fire. Because it's literally a laser beam. So that's that. What time is it? It's this. So I've been streaming for what? Almost 3 hours. I'm gonna be right back real quick. I'm gonna take my first idle meeting. Let's go. I'll take my first idle meeting. And I will be right back. And we'll do some traps and monsters and protections, and then we'll wrap up after we're done with this. Because once I have like traps and stuff, like I'm not worried. Like I can figure out where they all go and stuff. I'll probably delete this. Instead, I might like make this like be here, or rather, maybe I'll make it like this branch come out from over here, like something like that. And there'll be like this room, and this room will be where they arrive, and the door will be like the main boss monster. And this will be like the teleport sigil to the other temple. Alright. Let me BRB. I have an actual BRB screen. I've never used it. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. Let me mute and go to the BRB. Hello, I've returned. Thank you, Denny. Alright. We're broken. Traps and monsters. I don't really want many monsters in this dungeon. What do I want in this dungeon? I definitely want traps, right? I know I want one trap to be... Thank you, Harmless. Oh my lord, the fucking stream joke. No, Denny. Denny, you gotta stop. That's very funny. Also, cease. Alright, traps. So one is definitely like a prison trap. I don't know what else I'm gonna call it. It'll be a room Let me do this. Oh, let me do this. Room. It's very simple. You'd be surprised how many players would fall for this. I mean, the players will be met with an empty room. And we'll say empty room. Everything but the outer 5 feet of the room is marked with a magic sigil. When stepped on, the magic creates a force field. You know, very simple. When they step on the and they step more than 5 feet into the room, they get trapped in a magic force field. So this area, we're gonna area in the sigil is protected from teleportation, in and out, scrying, in or out, inside. You can't cast magic, so it's inside has an anti-magic field. Like, this is designed to literally trap literally anyone in all cases, right? You can't use magic while you're inside it. The force field's immune to damage. Like, it's... If they get trapped by it, I have no idea how they're gonna get out. Very frankly. But that's not my job. My job is not to solve the party's problems. It's to put problems in front of the party. So... yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if they were to come up with a number, like, I would be fine with a number of solutions to this. The first two that come to mind are disintegrate. Like, the spell disintegrates, 6th level spell. It would have to be done from the outside, because inside you can't cast magic. Because disintegrate destroys, like, pretty much everything. And the party has access to it, so, like, for sure. Yep. It's probably the case that, like, disintegrate would, like, turn it off for, like, a minute or something like that before coming back. What else would solve the problem? Obviously, which solves the problem, that's a 9th level spell. I would say a 9th level Dispel Magic would probably do the trick. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. That will probably be, like, on the way to, like, where the slime is being held. I would think. So, like, in this portion, like, trap room, slime. Because the slime is bigger than 5 feet. The slime would, like, get trapped in it, right? So, not only does it protect people from accessing the slime, but it also protects, like, if the slime were to somehow get out of its cauldron, which it, like, for whatever reason, like, the cauldron is magical, it can't get out on its own. This dungeon is very much a fuck around and find out kind of dungeon, right? If you fuck around, if you start poking around for stuff that you don't belong in, then you're gonna find out what happens, right? So... What other kind of traps exist? I want a teleport trap. It'd probably be on a wall. Like, on a wall. If you pass in front of it, you get teleported somewhere. Let me look at the teleport spell. Let's see here. Does teleport say anything about unwilling targets? It does not. Let me look to see what willing. Is plane shift up to 8 willing creatures. Alternatively, oh, you can use this spell a bit. So, charisma saving throw. All right, so it should be so charisma saving throw. Again, it should be very high. I think this one should probably be even higher than the disease one, because the disease one is like a regular person should have a very difficult time with it. This is like a high level adventurer should have a very difficult time with it. So maybe DC 20. Actually, you know what? Let's make it DC 21. And the reason for making it DC 21 is that, like, even on a nat 20, alright, even if you're, like, the best that you could, if you don't have a positive charisma score, you won't succeed. DC 21. So, not only do you have to be, like, super high force of will, charisma is force of will, it's not literally, like, looks or anything like that, it's, like, literally the force of your will, right, is charisma. And if you don't want it bad enough, right, you got to be good at not wanting it bad enough. And not only do you have to be good, you have to be really good. DC 1 or teleported. Now, to where? Where would these people teleport you? Actually, not teleported. Plane shifted. Plane shifted. This will send you to Axiom. And I know that you guys might think, well, what, you're gonna fucking DC 21, like, literally teleport your players to another plane of existence with no way to return? I mean, the answer is just yes. That might sound cruel, but, like, if you think about it, like, if you're breaking into this place, yeah, literally just into the back rooms, for real. If you imagine if you worked here, right? These people worship Axiom, they worship Abadar. It makes sense that that if they're super powerful, right? This is a very powerful order, because they can contain all this stuff. That means they have dealings with Axiom directly. They have dealings with the angels there. The angels being the Knights of Axiom. So obviously, like, it makes sense that they would have means to teleport there. They would use this to teleport there, and if you're, if you don't belong to them, you don't get to teleport back. They probably had something to let them teleport back. And that won't be present in this dungeon. Axiom is very much not a fun place. They're like super rigid. I mean, I guess you could think like if you're very lawful, right? You're amazing at following the rules, you'll do great there. But if you're not, it's okay, Denny. I know you do great there. You're very obedient. Hi, Corn. How are you? Thanks for the lurk. We love lurkers here. I'm a long-time lurker myself. It took, some very special individuals to make me not lurk. So, I, love lurkers. Lurkers are great. Thank you for stopping by. But a teleport trap, I don't know where I'm going to put this teleport trap. It doesn't really matter as long as I know it's there. It'll be somewhere. Oh, well, I'm glad I'm glad that, thank you for saying that my voice is calming. That's very kind of you. Hopefully I'm glad you found something to calm you during times of frustration. Hopefully whatever you're dealing with, like the work that you're dealing with that's very frustrating, can be resolved very quickly and calmly without issue. Because I've been there, I've been in very frustrating situations, jobs that are hellish to deal with. I get you, and I hope it can be easier for you. So yeah. I'm doing well. We've made a lot of progress here. Designing this dungeon, we're pretty much almost done. I don't know that I even want any other traps, right? What are we guarding here? We're guarding one thing, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will probably be the teleport room. Well, if this is the teleport room, I'm not sure where I'm gonna put this, but doesn't matter. One of these will be like the trap room to the slime. But I'm doing well. We've made a lot of progress. I'm very happy with how far we come. We only have a very little bit left. And yeah. Alright, let's talk monsters. I don't really want hardly any monsters in this place. Wait, Brett said, yeah. We're definitely there. I want basically 0 monsters. I want 1 monster, and that because this place existed before, like, creation is the best way I can describe what modern day people know. Like, I say modern day, what present day people know is creation. So anything that would have lived here should have been wiped out. And people couldn't have moved in because of this giant fucking laser that disintegrates people as they approach the temple. So whatever should be here should either be purely mechanical, because, fun fact, the players don't know this, the laser is thermo. It detects body heat. Yeah, that's a thing. So for the monsters, I really only want one monster, and it's the one that guards the portal to the rod. So the party will have to get through it to get there, and it will be a creation of permanence, the Knight of Axiom. So let's think about this for a second. What monster would be put in this place to guard a very important artifact that was created by permanence? The concept of permanence. Yeah, basically this is, it's ancient advanced tech. It's like think of it like whatever's going to be here. So if you look at the map, right, the party will be here, right? The party will start here, and the teleporter is here. And the boss monster, what I want is the boss monster that is the thing to be the door. So they open the door, they walk in, maybe they see the teleporter, maybe they go through the teleporter and get the rod, but as soon as they walk in, the door closes, and the door literally talks to them. It's like, I have been activated. You have upset permanence, Knight of Axiom. Yada yada, his creation will destroy you. And then the door, like, exits the wall and, like, attacks them. That's something to that effect is what I want, like, the boss. Because it should be, like, right, because Axiom is literally a different plane of existence. They're literally aliens, right? They're like, if you think about, like, the people that live on Axiom are, like, literally concepts, right? Not the souls, but, like, the creations of Abadar are, like, concepts, like time. Time is a Knight of Axiom. If you think of what some time, the concept of time would have created, like, that's the kind of vibe that we're going for. But what would the permanence of concept in the Temple of Preservation? What would the concept of permanence and, like, protection and existence, you know, like, it would be like reality almost. To that, I am going to open one of MCDM's books. So MCDM has his own Knights of Axiom, so I'm going to take a look at what he created for his. So I know they're in here somewhere in one of his books. I have like 3 of his books. Adventure of Pop Tropica, Temple of Water theme. There will probably be water-themed or aquatic monsters. Well, probably not aquatic monsters, because maybe something that can exist in water, but not aquatic itself, because this is not, the temple itself is not underwater. Well, it sort of is underwater. Half of it is underwater. But if it's underwater, it's outside, and it would have to be something that does not trigger a thermodynamic laser. So what, are there any, that's actually a good idea, Corn. Are there any animals that don't have, like, body heat? I don't know, like, Nori, does not know enough about biology to know if there are any, cold-blooded things to reptilians. So there's probably, I probably want a monster, a powerful monster that is reptilian to live in this bay. It can't be big, because they already would have known about it. So, oh, worms? Do you want to do a callback as, like, a precursor? They'll probably encounter the worms. So what are, it'd probably be like maybe an eel or something? Do eels count? I don't know if eels have body temperature. I don't think it's this book. Let me go find strongholds and followers. We're strong ones and followers. I guess. Okay. Let me think here. The Celestial Cult Principle. Authority, the concept of authority, that's not bad, but not permanence. Not protection, virtue. Dominion, throne. These are angels. These are people. No, we want. Where are. Yeah, their temp is going to be around the same as the environment. Perfect. So let's do eels. I'll design an eel. I probably won't do it on stream, like I said, just because that's a lot of work to do on stream, and it's already later for potential references on Dime. Check those. Okay, sure. I will check that out. Where is the... There we go. So the Knights of Axiom that he has are space, death, change, fate, nature. Oh, I should have put their name. Permanence, the Inexorable. So the Knights of Axiom are called the Inexorables. I forgot about that. Let me think about this. What would be, what's just a word for, like, a door or a, honestly, like, bulwark, maybe? Like, monsters. Bulwark. Creation of permanence. The inexorable Knight of Axiom. Something like this. Just like a random, like, fucking word that means, like, door and or. Like, you know, shield / guard. I don't know. I don't actually know what the word bulwark means. What does bulwark mean? Let's look at the definition. A strong support or protection. It's also like the side of a ship. A solid wall-like structure raised for defense. A strong support or protection. Perfect. We'll just call it bulwark. It's literally a door. It's probably, I would say it's a metal door. when gone through, it activates, triggering combat. Let me think about this. I'm not going to design the whole monster right here, because that would take forever. Because you gotta, like, when you're designing a monster, you have to consider, like, how much attack bonus it has for each of its attacks, like, what kind of abilities it has, what those do, what kind of actions those are. There's a lot that goes into it. Maybe we'll do a stream, like, maybe one of these streams will, like, go through a design monster. Basically, we've designed a dungeon here, right? We have a layout. We know roughly where things are, right? And that kind of thing. But maybe we can design a monster or something like that. I think either, like, I don't know if my players are going to get through this entire dungeon in one session. They probably won't. This will probably take more than one session. So next time, right, next week, when we come back, they might have gone through some of this dungeon. If they've gone through all of the summons, we'll do prep for the next game. If they haven't done this entire dungeon, then we'll start on something else next week. We'll probably start on some setting work. I'm going to be designing a setting for a different tabletop system, and I really want to get started on that because I have some big ideas for it. So it triggers combat. So if we're fighting, like, literally a support defense, right, what properties does that have? One, it's made of metal, right? So anything that affects immune to any conditions or effects that only affect people, affect people. So, like, for example, it's immune to sleep. It's immune to prone, like it can't fall over. It might not be immune to prone, because it's a metal door, but I want it to, when it activates, I want it to, like, transformer robot style, like robot transformer style, into like a mech, basically. I want it to be a transformer. Because I think that's funny, and I enjoy that. That makes me smile. But it'll be immune to sleep. It's immune to, like, the poisoned condition, for example. I don't know. Damage types. I don't know all the damage types off the top of my head. It's immune to necrotic damage for sure. To necrotic damage. It's immune to psychic damage because it doesn't have a brain. What else is it immune to? It's probably immune to. Let me think about this for a second. Poison damage. It's probably immune to bludgeoning damage. That's very thematic, right? Because, like, you beat down a door, but this is literally a door that's designed to never be beat down. It exists to never be beat down. So, bludgeoning damage? I don't know if it's called bludgeoning. Yeah, it's called bludgeoning. Blood. How do you spell bludgeon? Bludgeon? Let me look at the player's handbook. And see what other damage types there are. Damage types, is it in the index? Damage types, page 196. Perfect. There we go. Acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic, piercing, poison, psychic, radiant, slashing, thunder. Most things that are made of, like, that are objects are usually vulnerable to thunder damage, which is like sonic damage. It's like noise. Imagine like a thunder boom. Or in this case, maybe like acid damage, but I don't really, like, this thing's too powerful. It should not be vulnerable to anything. If this was like a lesser being, I would probably make it vulnerable to acid because it's like made of metal. But this is above that. I don't think it's resistant to anything else. Let me look at conditions. Are there conditions in here? There's a list of conditions in here as well. Conditions. Condition 290 to 292. Okay, so blind, charmed, deafened, frightened, grapple. Okay, so there's a lot here. Holy cow. We got poisoned. So obviously it can't be poisoned. Can this thing be blinded? Can a door be blinded? Even when it's a transformer? Can transformers be blinded? Or do they sense using, like waves in the air? We're gonna, here, we'll just do this. The reason that I'm doing it like this, like actually listing everything out, because usually I would not list all this out right now. But I want to, because this will be the basis for pretty much all creations of inexorables, and maybe even the inexorables themselves. Because, like, Nanther, so in theory, right, Nanther, his arm is the bibliothecary artifact created by knowledge, the inexorable Knight of Axiom, and it's like slowly taking over his body. If he dies, it'll be taking over his body more, right? Eventually, if he were to like let it take over his entire body, he would just become the bibliothecary, right? So in theory, eventually maybe Nanther gets this ability, like these abilities, if he becomes the bibliothecary, right? So, honestly, they could make a case that they're allowed to, if they, I don't know that Bulwark, Creation of Permanence, could be convinced to let them pass, but if they could, it would be by Nanther. I don't know that Nanther's player would be interested in negotiating. You know, I don't know if they'll recognize that, like, this is, they might go like, hey, look, he's got that thing that's made by Axiom, and, you know, maybe things devolve from there, but I doubt it. But it's immune to blind, probably not blind, definitely charmed. We're gonna charmed. You can't charm, like, literally law. Right, like, that's the whole point, that it can't be convinced, it's rigid. This thing probably deafened. It's probably immune to deafened. Definitely immune to frightened. Grappled. If this becomes like a mech, it probably can be grappled in some capacity. It's probably just too big to be grappled. Because this thing will end up being, like, huge sized. Like 15 by 15. It's not, you know, it's not, it's a door, it's not small. Paralyzed? Can this thing be paralyzed? It's made of metal, so maybe. It's immune to petrified. Poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned. Probably immune to stun condition. Because it's a thing. Alright, there we go. There you go. Sleep is not a condition, but it's immune to sleep spell. And then what kind of attacks does a mech door have? First off, it has super high AC. If it has super high AC, it can't have that much health. Lower health. Just based on, like, how balancing works. Honestly, I would be, like, very genuinely, if it wasn't the fact that, like, AoE spells exist, right, like Fireball, for example, I would be fine having this thing having, like, an AC of, like, 40, which is unhittable, but, like, 1 HP, right? But spells exist, so it can't be that. Maybe it could be that, where it just has, like, an AC of 40 and, like, not a lot of health, so they have to figure out that, you know, that, like, attacking it's not the way to go, right? Maybe something like that. I don't know. I'll play around with it. Like, we'll say, like, AC of, like, fucking, I don't know, 27. 27's impossible to hit. It's not impossible to hit, but it's very hard to hit. Lower health. What kind of attacks does a Transformer have? Normally they'd be like guns in modern day, but guns don't exist in this society. So, not guns. Maybe like a, what do you call it? Like a Samus arm or whatever. Was her like plasma arm. So maybe like a plasma gun, plasma rifle. But it should not be able to be detached from the body. Because I do not want my players to have a plasma rifle, frankly. That sounds too much. What else would this have? What else would a robot thing have? Plasma rifle probably would be something like takes around a charge. And that's like it's like one of its attacks is being used to charge the plasma rifle and then deals a shitload of damage. Because I want this thing to get, like, it takes around a charge. This thing should have low movement speed. Low movement. I want to make it like this is slow, it's strong. You know, it's like a door, like literally like a door. You know, a bulwark. It's built like Reinhardt from Overwatch with his shield up. You know. Maybe I could do a thing where it spews like fire from its mouth, like burning hand style. Mouth. And it's like it's not like fire, it's like lava, right? Because it's like, you know, from its like whatever core is keeping it powered, it like discharges that. Maybe not even from its mouth, maybe it like literally opens up its chest, right? What else? Obviously, so it needs a, like, fucking punch attack, right? This will be, like, what it usually does. This thing, gets extra, so it gets extra reactions for attacks of opportunity. So if you don't know, if you're not familiar with D&D, there's a concept called attacks of opportunity, which is if you move away from a creature, it can attack you for free, but it costs you a reaction. You only ever get one reaction. But this thing has infinite reactions specifically for attacks of opportunity. And the reason I want this to be an ability it has is because it's like nothing gets past me, right? It's literally like designed to be a wall. Nothing gets past me. So it you know what? I'm just gonna put infinite. Right, like that's the vibe that I want. Maybe it's like not even like if you go through it, it activates. If you try to go through it, it activates. Maybe it'll warn you. It'll warn you. Warns. Then again, it activates. Right? Like, if you try to go through the door, it'll be like, I am Bulwark, creation of permanence, the inexorable, knight of axiom. You shall not pass. Right? Something like that. And then they're like, we need to go through there. Whatever. And then it'll trigger, because they're like, it's like, no, you won't. So something like that. The attack of opportunity, that would be like the punch, right? Punch. Whatever the punch is, it might not even be a punch. It might literally be just like, I'm imagining this thing is like literally a rectangle. Let me draw. I have paint, right? I have access to paint. Let me go to paint. Alright. Can delete this. I'm imagining this thing is like literally a door, right? And then it's like this. It's got like little like rivets or whatever. This is, I'm still on this. It's got like little rivets because it's like made of metal. Oh my god. Paint, please. Whatever. Get the point. Whatever. Whatever. You get the point. It has like little rivets around it. It's like you cannot get past it. And then like when it activates, it's got like, you know, like an eye here. Can't rotate this. Rotate. Can I not rotate like 45 degrees in paint, please? Whatever. I want it to have like an angry eye. Like right here. And one like right here. Okay, maybe not right there, but here. You know? And there'll be like narrow slits, kind of like this, but like angled down. And it'll like speak to the door. It'll like, it probably won't even like move a mouth. It'll probably like have like a little like thing here that'll open up, and it'll be like a speaker. And it'll be like, I am Bulwark. And then when it gets up, it like, it probably doesn't even, I don't know if it probably doesn't even have legs. It probably has like treads, you know, like tank treads. And it like becomes like, probably like a tank, you know, it probably looks like a tank. Right? And it has like, the rifle, and it'll like open up like a little cabinet on like the front to like, or from any side. This could be like from any side. Any side. And it'll like spew the lava. and then any side could, like, you know those, like, I don't know what they're called. They're like, you know, the boxing gloves in like a pop out box or whatever they're called. You know, like the clowns might have. They have like a little like jack in the box where you like spin it and it like pops up a thing, but instead of that, it's like a punching glove. Maybe something like that for the punching attack, where like it just like opens up a thing and just like punches you. Maybe something like that. That's kind of what I'm envisioning. Because, like, you cannot get past this. It's literally a tank. It has a plasma rifle. It will, if you try to go around it, it'll attack you and spew lava at you. Right, like, this is the kind of vibe I'm going for. So, I think that's pretty good. I think I have a good idea of what's going to happen here. That's pretty much it. Maybe another trap to protect, like, because this needs protection. This is protected by bulwark. This needs its own protection. This will probably be protected by a force field, but this also needs protection. So we got what 3 things that need active protected. We have 2 traps. So I think the prison trap will be for the slime. Maybe the nuke button will be on the, like, the teleport trap will be on the way to the nuke button. And then I think for the pyramol, I want something that's, like, on theme. Like, maybe it's got, like, here. Maybe it's not even, like, a trap, but rather it's, like, protected by lava. Like, the lava wall. It's like, you know how there are, like, vases that... Here, let me see if I can find a picture. That have, like, glass covers for it. Like this. Copy image. Paint. Like this. So it'll be like the hammer will be inside and it'll be like cascading over it will be like lava basically. And if you want to get it, you have to like stick it. You either have to be made of metal, right? So maybe Nanther could grab it. Or like you have to like stick your hand in lava, take a shitload of fire damage, potentially like melt your hand, like that kind of thing. So lava protection, because that's on theme, because the pyramol is Serenre. Serenre is the god of like light and heat and stuff, light and fire. So lava works. Yeah, like a trial of wit/courage kind of thing. And that'll like draw their attention, because like this place is not going to be lit up, or if it is, it's going to be like by very faint like artificial light, because it'll like it's inside. So I could see something like it's lit up, like the whole place is dim light and has like a very faint like, you know, like glow stick glow from like glow sticks that run along the ceiling or something like that. Because it's like nothing here should be like living, basically. The only reason this thing survived the end of the world is because like these things survived the end of the world. Like the world wipe is because they were protected by this place, right? Like that's the vibe that we should go with. So nothing here should be like literal. Like living, basically. Should all be artificial. I think that pretty much covers it. I think that covers everything I wanted to cover. I need, here, let me go up here. Outside the temple, the underwater temple, we need some sort of animal. I was thinking like an eel. What did you mention? It was insects, worms, amphibians, fish, and reptiles. Okay, well that explains why fish don't immediately die when they, like, why the underwater system, because I described the bay as like having like a very like vibrant ecosystem, like there's like a lot of coral and stuff. Perfect explanation. And the one on land is like scorched, raised earth, right? Because like you know, animals like squirrels and stuff trigger the giant laser. And it like burns the jungle to the ground, but underwater it doesn't, because these things are cold-blooded. Perfect. Logical explanation for the stuff that I just made up on the spot last time. Thank you. Alright. Yeah, that's how DMing goes sometimes. I think that covers pretty much everything. I need an animal for this. I don't know what animal, what kind of monster I want. What are some powerful underwater monsters? Let me go to... I'm gonna throw another resource in chat that I use somewhat regularly. It's the Donjon list of monsters. It has monsters from everywhere, and I only use it because you can, like, it has very, very easy ways to, like, drop down and sort monsters. And it tells you where you get them. So, look what book they're in. So, this I will sort by type. Type should be beast, because that covers, like, animals. I might also look at monstrosities, but let me look at powerful beasts. You know, super powerful beasts. Okay, the highest is Tyrannosaurus Rex at CR 8. So, giant shark is at CR 5. That's not bad. You can just have like some sharks. I don't know what else. Let me look at the monstrosities, because monstrosities are beastly. Powerful monstrosities. A Naga. Naga is not a bad shot. That's CR 10. That's pretty much it, really. I'm not putting a Kraken. I know, like, there is a Kraken in my setting. I know where it is. Let's do a Naga. What is a Guardian Naga? Let me look that up. Where do I find that? Monster Manual 234. Let me look this thing up. What is this thing like? Guardian Naga 234. It's like a green snake thing. CR 10. It's a lawful good, and it's like a big spellcaster type. And it can come back to life. Sure, let's do something like this. It probably won't be directly this, but something like akin to this. So I might note down like a Guardian Naga Monster Manual page 234. Alright, perfect. And we have our dungeon. Thank you guys. That pretty much covers everything I wanted to do. We've successfully prepped for 1, maybe 2 to like anywhere from 1 to 3 sessions, honestly. Because the fight against Bulwark could be a session in and of itself, right? The fight against the Worm Rot could be a session in and of itself. We have the dungeon layout. We know roughly where things are. This is all stuff that can be figured out whenever, so we pretty much made it. thank you guys. I don't need that. I don't need that. We'll transition to just chatting here. And we'll call it a day. Let me go find Pigeon's stream so that way I can send you guys to him. Suave Pigeon. Is he still streaming? I assume he's still streaming, yeah. Alright. Oh, he's like interacting with Umi. Alright. Well, we'll call it a day here. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for stopping by. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, evening. Hi, Tanuki. You've been here the whole time, I see. Thank you. And have a great time. I will see you guys tomorrow for Wall World at the same time. Yeah, glad to have you guys. I'm going to transition to my ending screen and throw this in the chat. Where did my stream go? Gotta open up my stream again. Gosh dang it. This one. Alright. Go say hi to Pigeon. We don't really have a raid message, so, because I can't raid, so, I don't know. Slime raid or something? Who knows? But, bye-bye. Have a great rest of your evening. Or day, if it's day for you. And I'll see you later. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.